a while ago, I hit a major birthday and I went, my God, I have had nothing but disastrous relationships all my life. I have really been bad at this. I've dated a lot, I've had a lot of relationships, I've been married, and I was like, this is one area of my life that's a disaster. And my career was going good, and I had friends, and financially I was doing okay, and I was like, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna attract the love of my life, and I'm gonna put effort in. And I had just kind of like been waiting like a little fairy princess for the Prince Charming to come up and find me type of thing, which did not work. I decided I'm gonna put effort. And that story is in this book. I just started doing effort, every kind of effort I could think of. I got on 5 online dating sites, and every night I'd get in my jammies and be sending out texts and responding to them. I joined about 20 meetups. Is anybody here from Meetup? It's a great place to meet if you're single. You get a lot of invitations all the time. You can go out and meet single people. And I hired a coach, a dating coach. And I went back to therapy because I had a difficult childhood, like a lot of people who have trouble dating. And I just decided I was going to work it and work it and work it. And, but I couldn't figure out in the Western dating world how to be a spiritual person. Because you may have noticed the dating world out there is kind of cold and harsh. Does anybody find it that way? Nobody does? Oh my gosh, I thought it was very cool. Just swipe, if you don't look a certain way, if you're not this, that, people are rude to each other. Anyway, I decided that I was going to try to use the principles that I'd learned at the ashram because people met each other very differently there. So I wrote this book, and I was at Liberate. I was asking them when they were at Hollywood if they wanted to carry this book. They said, "I want to do a workshop." I said, "Yes." And then, much to my surprise, a girlfriend called me up and said, "Did you know that your book has been named one of the best dating books of all time?" I said, "What?" So this place called Book Authority called this one of the best top 50 dating books of all time. So I was like, really? So I wrote 2 other books to go with it because this one started selling really well on Amazon. So it's a series now. But anyway, I wrote down my journey and some of the principles I'm going to try to teach you tonight. One of the main things about Tantra is that we feel that our body is sacred too. And in the Western Judeo-Christian, maybe it's not like that as much as it used to be, but they always considered the body to be sinful, especially women's bodies were considered very sinful. I've been reading a lot about that lately for this school I'm in. And because what you wanted to do, they thought that spiritual was up here and up there. So they really taught us to be cut off at the neck and not have much awareness of our bodies, because our bodies are, just think about it, we don't have abs and we're not the right shape, and our breasts are too small, or our penises are too small, or all of these things we're being taught all the time about how our bodies aren't right. We don't look like that. And since social media, it's gotten even more intense. And our bodies are kind of sick, and we learn to live our lives in this Western culture looking, seeing, and evaluating and judging. And that's what we bring to dating. Looking, seeing, evaluating, and judging. So we can talk a little bit more about this later. So what we do in Tantra is we realize, I want to live, my body's sacred too, I want to live in my body. And this probably makes sense to some of you, and some of you are like, what is she talking about? I didn't know what this meant till I went to the ashram, because I thought I was in my body because I did yoga and I was a dancer and I ate well. But when I got to the ashram, I realized those are things I'm doing to my body. It's not actually in there. So let's do a couple exercises to get in our bodies. You guys game for that? Okay, great.